Hello, humans. It's your host with the most, Brandon, with episode 41 of Not a Robot Podcast's DC Comics review show. I have returned. I'm free from the clutches of finals week at college, and I'm back for some comic talk on the world's greatest podcast about the world's greatest heroes. As always, I've got my amazing co-host here with me, Rob.
In brightest day, in blackest night. I'll tell you the rest later.
Very cool. And Josh.
Hello, humans.
This week we've got Suicide Squad number 3, Batman number 108, Crime Syndicate number 3, Infinite Frontier, Secret Files number 2, Green Lantern number 2, and The Swamp Thing number 3. Before we get going, I just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who help out with $1 or more a month, and thank you listeners too. Like, download, and share our episodes so we get more listeners and can bring you more content. You can get access to our Patreon and the rest of the Not a Robot Podcast shows at notarobotpodcast.com. So, what's new with you guys this week?
Well, I don't have much different than normal around here. Same shit, different fly. But it is, they've announced on DCComics.com a preview of at least 7 pages of Tynan and Bueno's The Nice House on the Lake. There's a synopsis there in the whole 9 yards, and you've got to go check out the art. The art throughout the issue looks so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And then keep scrolling all the way down until you get a chance to see the exclusive variant cover by Carla Cohen, who needs to be famous right now because holy shit, it is gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now. It looks like they've got a real all-star lineup of variant cover artists, including some of the people that James has worked with. I don't know why I just called him James, like we're friends. That Tynan has worked with. In his other creator-owned books, I'm seeing one from Werther Dell'Edera, who did Something is Killing the Children with, and Martin Simmons, who he's doing the Department of Truth with, but. Like Josh, I'm very excited for this book, just because Tynan and Martinez Bueno are a killer team. They were on Detective. It was one of my favorite books of Rebirth and one of my favorite consistent Batman runs. That whole Gotham Knights is just a wonderfully inventive idea, and Martinez Bueno's art shined all the way through. So yeah, I definitely second that and say check it out.
And now that I'm looking at it, I'm actually seeing something crazy. I don't know if this is something that's been done before, or at least done very often, but these different variant covers are only going to be released at certain retailers.
Yeah,
and it's very exclusive.
I think they've done that, or they do that with a couple. I think it just depends on certain issues. Like they had that with the Detective 1000, where I live in New England, so one of our local retailers, Newberry Comics, had a bunch of shop specific variant covers. One was done by Pat Gleason and it featured all the Robins, and that was really cool. I think it just kind of depends on the issue and how they want to sell certain variant covers.
Well, yeah, I mean, by putting those different variant covers through one comic shop a piece, that automatically makes them way more valuable.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and I mean, you might have some people who would go to your shop and say I really want to request this specific variant cover, and they probably won't pick it up just because you don't want to order 15 variant covers if you're running a store. But this will probably help trim it out a little bit, so that's nice.
One would hope.
Yeah, one would hope. I know. For me personally, just because I've had a bit more free time after being completely done with finals, I've been able to get into some of like the weird underrated horror books in the New 52.
Congratulations.
Yep. So like I'm finishing Frankenstein Agent of Shade right now. I'm on the second volume. After that I'm going to start I, Vampire, which I've got tucked away in some corner. And then I had never gotten the chance to actually read Jeff Lemire's Animal Man, even though I had read the New 52 Swamp Thing, and those two are linked a little bit. But I picked up the omnibus, and I was able to finish that in about a day or two, which was really nice. So I definitely recommend picking up that. Oh yeah, definitely recommend picking up the complete omnibus. It's just a really great read.
Fantastic book.
Yeah.
And say what you will about New 52, but their horror stuff was on point.
Yeah, they have like these weird, like, I guess, fringe books that I think it was Josh who said it before we started recording, where it's just like they were really good, but no one bought them, so they got canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So you have a book like I, Vampire, Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, and it's only like 16 issues, and you're like, oh, that kind of sucks, but you realize it didn't sell, so you can only do so much.
Yep. Nobody wants to buy a comic book about Frankenstein.
I guess so.
It doesn't matter how cool they make them.
Oh, why not? I don't know. Like that idea is so cool to me. Like having Frankenstein in the DC universe. Like how could you not love that?
Right.
But
exactly.
Yeah. What else is new, guys?
I've got a VR headset on the way, and I'm super excited.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Oh man, so much fun.
I've got one for the Switch that we just got here, that Nintendo Labo, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all right.
No,
but I've not had like a whatever you call it, that one from HTC or like an Oculus. That would be so wicked.
I've tried the Oculus. I forget what game they had running. It was like some like spy game or something like that, where you had to like, I don't even remember, like find a bomb or something. I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was it was.
Wait, you have to defuse a bomb?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Oh, that game was wild.
Yeah. It was just really intense, but like, it was just a really fun way to experiment with the VR controls.
Apart from that, nothing else from me, but over in the DC cinematic world, Green Lantern, the TV series coming to HBO Max, has cast Guy Gardner.
Oh my god,
wow.
Really?
Yeah. And
who did they get?
I know I've seen him in something based on his IMDb. Oh my god, what the hell is it called? I know him from something based on his filmography, but I don't recognize his face or his name. It's Finn Wittrock.
I have no idea who that is, but I mean, I've
Finn Wittrock.
I didn't even know they were having a Green Lantern TV show.
Oh yeah, but this is one of the things I am hopefully excited about. So,
yeah, I recognize him from American Horror Story.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
I mean, does he? This is a mean thing to say, but like, does he look like an asshole? Because that's kind of the actor that you need to cast for Guy Gardner.
Yeah. A couple of pictures I'm looking for. He
definitely
punchable face.
Could.
Or like, I don't know, maybe put some makeup on or something. But like, if you really want to sell it, you're gonna need something like that.
Well, go look at his main profile picture on IMDb.com, Internet Movie Database, and he looks smug as hell.
Okay.
I mean,
his name is
Finn.
What is it?
Finn
Wittrock.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound like an asshole?
I'm sure he's a lovely guy.
I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but at least I'm sure he can play an asshole.
Oh yeah, I could see it. I'm just wondering like how much they're gonna lean into it, because I mean I know at least for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when they were, casting and eventually having John Walker play in the role, they've kind of. They kind of toned down some of the worst parts of John. Like, they still had him be a little bit of out of control, but he wasn't, like, quite as bad as he could be in the comics. So I'm just wondering if they're going to go, like, full Gardner, they're just going to probably tone it back a little. If I had to guess, they're probably going to tone it back.
Well, okay. See, Marvel dumbed down Winter Soldier too. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of action and violence and treachery that he was involved in. But think about Guy Gardner, and yeah, he's a volatile guy. He cusses, all of that shit. But it's going to be on HBO Max, so that's going to be able to fly there, right?
Yeah.
It should.
It will.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to they're not just going to. I think that we're going to get a very accurate representation of Guy Gardner.
Okay.
Because that's going to draw people in. He's going to be loud, obnoxious, and people are going to either love him or love to hate him.
Yeah. I mean, is it so is the show, because I'm going to be honest, I know like absolutely nothing about this. I like I said, I didn't even realize they had a show.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
There's not much to say yet.
Well, so is it a show being produced specifically for HBO Max, or is it just going to be like showing on HBO Max?
Well, technically both.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's
just because like
it's strictly on. As far as we know, it's strictly on HBO Max.
Yeah.
If it could show up again on like CW later on, who knows?
Yeah.
It might even tie into like the whole cinematic multiverse they have going on through what they showed on Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay, because I was thinking like Stargirl, which I think is on the CW, but they also have it on HBO Max if you want to watch it. But yeah, I don't know. Just that'll be interesting to see.
It might go the way of like how Stargirl is.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! I'm looking at. I don't think it's gonna be soft like Stargirl. I'm looking at the people who wrote it and who are involved in this, and yeah, so they've casted Guy Gardner for sure. Alan Scott's going to be in the lead. He will be gay. That's cool. He hasn't been cast yet. But the writer Seth Grahame-Smith. If you haven't read Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, oh my god, that's such a good time. Don't watch the movie.
Yeah, I saw a poster for that, and it looked so dumb. I'm sorry.
No, the book, I loved it. Unfortunately, it's got Guggenheim involved. You know, he's one of the CW goons, but it was confirmed that various members of the Corps are going to show up. Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Alan Scott. That's it. That's the only ones that have been confirmed. All of this was announced just 23 hours ago.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be, I mean, I hope for their sake they have a big budget for this, because that's a lot of lanterns, and like, that's probably a lot of special effects for a TV show. But we'll see.
That's true, but okay, so it's HBO. Think Game of Thrones. Think all of those other high-profile ones, and we're gonna get like what, 8 episodes?
Yeah. That'd be my hope at least. Where it's like you want something like that, you know, where you can really like lean into how many different constructs each lantern can do. Because if it's a Green Lantern, you know, show involving the Corps, it's going to be a lot of crazy visuals, I imagine.
It really will, and it'll be different kinds of visuals because they've all got different personalities and different ideas in the comic books. I mean, you know, like Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner are going to come up with 2 completely different solutions. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, there was a page in Green Lantern Rebirth where Jeff Johns just went over how different the 4 Earth Lanterns at the time. There's only 4.
I remember
just how different their constructs were.
Yeah, where it's like
I only know because I've read that book. Like
where it's like Kyle is like super artistic because he wears his heart on his sleeve, and then Hal's constructs are basic because he like hits people like a brick. John breaks his down into parts, which I actually really liked. Because it kind of
very architectural.
Yeah, exactly. It ties into his past as an architect. It kind of shows his more analytical mind. And then I forget what Gardner's were. I think it was like something obscene, but Rob can probably catch me up on that.
It's always big battering rams.
Yeah,
something like where you said Jordan is explosive. I mean, he's explosive, but he comes up with like devices. Like he'll have machine guns or, you know, jet planes, you know, that kind of shit. Where Guy Gardner will just come up with a giant fucking hammer. Or two walls that smash people together, you know.
I don't know. I think it kind of makes him unique in that way.
It does. Like it makes them all kind of unique.
It's the weird kind of bluntness that Guy has, which is what made him such good friends with the Yellow Lantern, Arkillo. back when they did that
Yep.
for a little bit, which is
Oh,
pretty
that was
cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. I loved that.
Yeah, that was fun. I was thinking about that the other day.
It was a good one.
And I was like, oh, it would have been nicer to have seen the greens and the yellows together for a little bit. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Before we do, let me just say I would really like to see the Orange Lantern come back.
Yes.
At least for a short story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was all. I just had to put that out there because I don't know. It seems like the stuff we ask for on this show, almost like 8 out of 10 times we eventually get it. And that's
very
cool
strange.
as shit.
It's very strange. We have like some weird prophetic power.
Exactly.
But like, oh, and I mean, speaking of another like weird forgotten New 52 title, they had the Larfleeze title in the New 52.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
From Giffen and DeMatteis. And like I remember seeing it at a comic shop, and I was like, "Is this real?" I thought it was like fan made or something, but no. Sure enough, they had one. So go check it out. Larfleeze from Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis for a good time. Probably. I haven't read it, but I assume it's somewhat entertaining.
I actually remember it, and it's just funny watching Larfleeze live up to the Avarice title. It really, it's really funny, and it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, for the short bit that it is.
Well, that's weird. I mean, I guess we're going full Green Lantern today before we get into the comics, but
All right.
I remember they had a Sinestro title too, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess there would have been like a Green Lantern, a Green Lantern Corps, Red Lanterns, Sinestro, as well as Larfleeze, all around the same time.
Weren't there also ones for Indigo and Blue too?
I don't.
First,
there might have been
Saint
like
Walker
a one
and
shot.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't remember, but yeah.
I feel
I
like
do
Saint
remember-
Walker had at least a big book. I remember.
There might have been
Yeah. No, it was
something.
it was New Guardians. That was the one because it was with Kyle Rayner.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at my copy on my shelf over in the corner, and it's like glaring at me because it's like, you can't forget me.
Yeah.
I happened. I matter. I exist. But yeah, New Guardians, that was a good title too.
Yeah, there was a time where there was every week there was a Green Lantern book,
Yeah.
and one week had 2 books, and it was the happiest time of my life.
Oh, I'm sure. Rob was in Lantern heaven.
Oh man,
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Since we've gone on such a sidetrack, can I just mention something here? Isn't it weird how fans change their reactions so greatly? When the New 52 came in and decided that they were going to completely shake everything up, everybody balked at it. Everybody was pissed.
Oh yeah.
And then when they said, okay, well, we're just going to come back in, we're going to kind of merge the old with the new and kind of make it work for you guys. And they tried. And people were like, nah, fuck that. But less people were.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we've got the Omniverse and this reboot with Infinite Frontier, it feels as though, with the exception of the podcasts out there that just talk negative about every single book, it seems as though everybody likes this shit. And I know I'm a big fan so far of the majority of these titles.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But-
so, honestly, it's like, it's nice to hear you say that, because when I go back to the New 52, I mean, make no mistake, there are some books that are not very great, but I'm almost hard
That's
pressed.
true.
I'm almost hard pressed to find like 10 titles that I absolutely hate. There are a couple that, aren't great. Teen Titans and Lobo are ones to speak of, but there are ones that are just like really great. And I mean, on the whole, I don't even know that I would say it's bad, because I find myself coming back to them every now and then and kind of, thinking about how much I enjoyed them. But I think
see, like the Lobo one, I almost read it. A matter of fact, I love Lobo, but like I go back and I read that almost like a what if story.
I see. Yeah.
That's the only way I can digest that shit, because they messed with Lobo so much.
Yeah,
But
no, that's fair.
I still enjoyed it, being a huge Lobo fan. I thought shit was great.
Well, I wonder if you could approach a lot of the other, I guess we're just going to keep going on this tangent, but a lot of the other New 52 books in that way, where it's like you don't view them as, the same characters that you know and love, but almost like reinventions of them that exist in a pocket dimension or something. Like if you looked at it from that way.
honestly, that's what DC Comics has been telling us since they did the New 52.
Yeah, pretty much. Huh, that's interesting. All right, well we spent enough time on this, so let's get into the comics. So first we'll be looking at Suicide Squad #3, which Rob will so graciously summarize and give us all the details. So take it away, man.
Gladly. So this one is coming from writer Robbie Thompson, with pencils by Eduardo Pensica, inks from Julio Ferreira, colors from Marcelo Maiolo, and letters from Wes Abbott. So Waller is gathering intel on Connor Kent through new Suicide Squad member Nocturna. She dishes out, but not everything. Peacemaker questions her after for the rest. Before they can get deeper, Peacemaker is called to Waller's office. Her new mission for the squad is to capture Bolt from Teen Titans Academy. They begin to intercept with new cannon fodder, Keymaster, and Branch. Keymaster can open doors to teleport through, and Branch has a body made of plant life. Branch will trip Bolt with a vine, and Keymaster will grab her into a door back to Belle Reve. Branch, however, gets nervous and begs Keymaster to jump them somewhere safe. Their heads blow up before they have a chance to move. Bolt escapes back to Titan's Tower while the squad is attacked by none other than Red X, who claims he can get them into the tower. This is getting a little more interesting, I think.
Okay, so it is getting interesting, Rob, but let me ask you, what in the... Okay, up until now, I thought that this Suicide Squad kind of existed in an alternate universe. Am I the only one? With the whole difference with Connor Kent in this storyline as opposed to where we've seen him before over the past year and a half.
I knew it had to be in the prime timeline just because it takes place immediately after the whole Arkham Asylum thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still waiting.
So I guess they're just...
I'm definitely still waiting for
with
the
Infinite Frontier, they're rebooting Connor one more time?
Or at the very least, something happened between Young Justice and Suicide Squad that made him say, fuck it, I don't want to wear my 90s clothes anymore. I'm going to wear the clothes I wore in the 2003 Jeff Johns Teen Titans run. I don't know. People change their outfits all the time. I guess maybe he was just like, I don't feel like wearing this anymore.
There's this big, huge mystery surrounding him that Waller is interested in.
Yeah.
But, who else is in love with Culebra?
Yeah, Culebra's awesome.
Super fun. The only thing I don't understand is, I mean, I speak very, very little Spanish, but Culebra means snake or serpent, and he doesn't look like a snake, and she doesn't act like one so far. I mean, I like the personality, not some big dumb character like Juggernaut, but they're funny, sarcastic, they seem smart. But I don't understand where the name Culebra came from.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Maybe she just thought it was cool.
Possibly. Peacekeeper still annoys me. I don't know what it is about that dude. He's always annoyed me, man. I can't believe they gave him a TV show. I hope it's because, and this would be really weird to me, but I hope it's because John Cena is so good as him that it changes my mind about Peacekeeper. That's what I'm hoping for.
We'll
if
see.
It helps. It's starring John Cena, so you won't be able to see it anyway.
Yeah. There you go.
Wrestling joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get what you're saying about Superboy, and honestly, he is my least favorite part of this book right now.
Yeah,
the confusion.
Kind of, we're waiting for him. We're waiting for him to be saved by the Teen Titans in the next crossover. At least I am.
I don't know that he needs to be. I mean, he's got a serious badass, take no bullshit attitude, and I mean, I think if he wanted to, he'd be able to save himself. That's the part that has me very intrigued.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but
well, he did seem brainwashed.
Yeah,
a bit. A bit. I don't know about you guys, man, but I mean, even with the slight confusion that was going on there, I enjoyed the shit out of this, man.
Yeah, no, I had more fun with this issue, I think, than I've had with the past two. And even though I didn't rate it as high as an 8 out of 10, I ended up giving it a 7.5. This one just, I don't know, I think it really worked for me.
It did.
And then, I don't know, I like, it's a minor note, but it's something that I like, and I really hope they continue to explore in more depth. But I really like the idea of a Talon being on the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, if he can ever stop saying who. I mean, that gimmick's going to get old soon.
Oh, yeah, no,
and
but
Is he just, like, being an owl, or is he actually looking for somebody?
I think he's looking for somebody.
Ooh.
I think we're on the same brainwave, Rob.
Ooh.
I think there's something there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which is a much better mystery to me than whatever Connor Kent's got going on.
Yeah. Before we leave it, man, let me say that the art is awesome. The pencils, inks, colors, all of it. And honestly, I think Robbie Thompson is kind of knocking it out of the park as far as the story goes. But am I the only one that's kind of getting some Tom Taylor-ish vibes from this story? The way that the characters all have very varied personalities, and they're written so well. That's kind of really not Robbie Thompson's typical way of writing characters, and this is great.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. But so yeah, Josh, you already rated it. Rob, what did you rate this issue?
I gave this a 7.5.
Nice, super cool.
Solid title.
Yeah, very solid.
Keep bringing more of these characters that just die.
I don't know. I'm still a little PO'd about them killing Shrike, because Shrike was one of my favorite like B-list Nightwing villains from the old book. But whatever.
Give it a year.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm sure someone's just clamoring to resurrect Shrike. But anyway, next we'll stop by Gotham City to check in with Batman and Scarecrow, which Josh will sum up for us this week.
All right, Batman 108. I thought it was pretty good. Where do you guys at it?
I liked it. Yeah. Did you give us the summary?
Just a bit, man. Yeah, it was written by James Tynion IV with art inside and out by my guys Jorge Jimenez and Tomu Mori, and of course Clayton Cowles was on the letters. I'm going to start things off with a preface, let you all know it is a really dense book. There is a lot of writing going on here, so go into it knowing that. But it's only when it really needs to be, like when the news broadcast was going on. It sounds like you're actually listening to a news broadcast with all kinds of unnecessary words thrown in there to make it sound more important. And yes, there is a lot of words, but it's representing what's going on. There's no ladder dialogue or anything unuseful like you tend to get from somebody like Bendis. Yes, I worked one in.
But it was, for me at least, before we get into the summary, you'll have that initial moment where you flick through a book and you're just like, oh no, there's so many words. Like, it's so dense. Yeah. But they, like you said, they definitely mean something. They have a greater purpose. They're not just there to fill up space.
Exactly. One question, and I don't know if you guys were stymied by this or not, but it seems like we got two different timelines going on here, right? I mean, we've got Bruce being tortured and under hallucinations with Scarecrow, and then him walking around with, as Match Malone. So did the Scarecrow thing happen before or after the rest of the story? Because it certainly couldn't have happened during.
Yeah, no, I think this is in the future, and we're looking back, because he's kind of in his monologues. He's like, think back to what happened, that whole thing.
All right, so you think that that the Scarecrow stuff is in the future?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that was the only way I could make sense out of it, but I wasn't sure. But
at the very least, at the end of this story.
Yeah.
Right. So the thoughts definitely sound like Bruce, and I was wondering if maybe, the first thought that popped into my head was maybe the guy had an imposter. There was somebody standing in for him, but it sounded too much like him. But anyway, he's able to fight it. It seems like it's breaking through a little more, kind of playing on his doubts of being I guess, good enough Batman. And then shortly after, Oracle sees Scarecrow perched up on a rooftop like Batman usually is, and she radios for Bruce to respond, because I guess it's been over 12 hours since she heard from him. The next thing we know, Match Malone is being held by the Unsanity Collective, and they are able to tell that he's got serious psychic defensive training, and that he's basically nothing but walking pure muscle. So they're deciding what to do with him when Miracle Molly says everybody gets a second chance. That's what we're all about. Stepping away from the so-called sanity. She gives him the whole spiel about what the Insanity Collective is. It seems like Batman is kind of considering the things that she's saying. At the very least, he's processing what she's saying. And as it turns out, Miracle Molly, through basically detective skills, is able to look and spend what seems to be maybe a couple of hours with Bruce Wayne and detect that he's not only not Matt Malone, but that he is Batman. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The next thing we get to see is that Mahoney, that security guard from the Arkham attack, he's being presented by Mayor Nakano as a hero to the city, and right afterwards he gets some sweet nothings dropped into his ear from Simon Saint. Of course, Saint's that dude that's trying to start up the magistrate, and he makes a deal with Mahoney. He says, look, here's some amazing tech that I can fix your whole body with and make you stronger and better than ever. All you have to do is promise to be my Peacekeeper 1.
I think we all saw that coming.
Right? It was like, that dude's got red hair, and I was hoping we'd finally get an answer to it, but
yeah,
I thought it would come out during a fight or something. In any case, I enjoyed the hell out of this. The last page is an amazing full splash of Mahoney beginning his experimental transformation with Simon Saint. And the story was it was really, really, really good. The art, of course, with Jimenez and Mori. I mean, all I have to do is say their names. I don't even have to give it any adjectives. I loved it, man. This book, this story, 9.25 for sure.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I loved it.
This was definitely my favorite issue of the week, and I just had one little note, and it's the name of the Unsanity Collective, because I remember when they first, like, I follow Tynan's newsletter, so I see all his little updates. He's just a guy I love to read his stuff about. And I remember when he was first talking about the Unsanity Collective, and I saw that name. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What is Unsanity? That sounds like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right. But he's not really good with names, man.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, this explanation kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, to hear him explain it makes more sense here. But I just had one little problem. So you have Miracle Molly, who's kind of talking with Bruce as Matches Malone about this name of what unsanity actually means, where it comes from, this idea of being post-sane, not being, not fitting into society's definition of sane, but they're not also insane. And I was just like, if it's post-sane, just call it the Post-Sanity Collective. Don't call it unsane, because unsane still sounds like insane. Like, the connotation of un just means that you're not something.
Exactly.
So if you're not sane, by definition, you're technically still insane. It just changing that root word doesn't really matter. Unsane, insane, they're basically interchangeable in that sense that you're not fitting into sane. So if you want to describe something that's post-sane or is a post-sane collective, you just call it the Post-Sanity Collective. Don't call it unsane. I'm sorry. It's a minor note. That's just like it's literally right there. Like, you just call it Post-Sanity. I know it doesn't really roll off the tongue, but like it sounds better and makes more sense. Yeah, it makes more sense than Unsanity Collective.
I mean, you're right. All those different words. Yeah. I mean, undoubted, unfit. I mean,
exactly. Like, unfit just means you don't fit. So if you're unsane, that means you're just not sane.
Right,
exactly.
The same
as insane. It's the same as insane. But other than that, I had a really great time reading it. It's my favorite title of the week, and I gave this one an 8.5. But Rob, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm excited. We're getting so much closer to what we saw in Future State. It's the little hints are nice, and I want more of this story before we get to that point, though. Like, just more of this creative team writing Batman stories before we get to the future that we've seen.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're
And
gonna drag it
They-
out quite a while, and because
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
let's face it, with this gritty personal perspective that they're putting on Batman and Gotham in general now, they've got the time to take those stories nice and slow, you know. So I think we'll be
Yeah.
in the present day on our way there for probably 3 years at the bare minimum.
Yeah, and I mean it's almost certainly not going to be the exact same future that we saw in Future State, because that's the bad future. That's the one you don't want to end up in. We're probably going to see how this timeline would deviate from that future, so that we don't end up in Future State where Bruce is on the run and everything is broken up. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get a resolution anytime soon. We're definitely going to drag this one out for a while. Um, but I think for me at least, I mean, I haven't always loved some of the newer villains that they've been introducing, because it feels like it's been a lot, like one every month. But I don't know, it's kind of growing on me. Like Miracle Molly, I think I was just like, oh, yet another new character. But it actually kind of worked for me this week, at least. Like the whole monologue that she had with Batman, I think just really humanized her in a way that was was more interesting than the presentation of some of the earlier villains. So it
Yeah,
kind of worked
okay,
for
so
me.
take Batman out of the
Mhm.
picture. If you have Miracle Molly in a movie, all of us would see her as the protagonist. All of her would see us as the hero in that movie. She's trying to help these people who have had so much trauma, and she's doing her best to use her gifts to make them better. We would be rooting for her
Yeah,
if we didn't
Yeah,
have
exactly,
Batman to stand in our way.
exactly,
I'm already rooting for her, even with Batman sitting
Well,
here.
right.
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, but
but even
oh no, go ahead.
sorry, just on Miracle Molly, also great character. I thought she was very interesting, and like I said, I'm completely rooting for her mission. But I felt there was so much emphasis on her introduction. Like she's featured on the cover, and after reading it, after the book came out, everybody was talking about Miracle Molly online, and I was just thinking, who the fuck is she?
Yeah,
Is she somebody I like forgot about? Somebody that was heavy in Future State? Because she seems so big.
Yeah, she was in Future State, and she tangled with Jimmy Olsen.
is that her?
Yep.
Future
Huh.
State.
She only calls herself Molly, but I can tell by the way that she looks that it was the same person.
Interesting. I
Oh,
didn't know that.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It was when Jimmy was leading the resistance.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that story, and I remember a character named Molly. I guess I didn't think they were the same.
I gotta revisit
Yeah.
that. Okay, well, still a great character.
Yeah, super cool.
And the art's fantastic. Oh my god, this art is some of the best art in the entire Infinite Frontier so far.
For sure.
Just amazing.
Hands down. I mean, Jimenez or Jorge is DC's greatest artist, and I mean, I'll continue to say that there's nobody that can draw this kind of quality on every single page, and certainly not as fast as he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the closest I'd put is probably Evan Doc Shaner, who's doing Strange Adventures and he's done other projects, because I love his classical style, but I don't know if he's as fast as Jorge.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's as fast. I just know the rumors about Jorge,
Mhm.
but I mean, there's some really good ones that are out there. I like Dan Mora. Yeah, I love Dexter Soy. I love Zermanico. There's really good ones out there, man. But for whatever, it's his pure talent. Every single panel, every single stroke on the page, dude, it just looks flawless.
Yeah, super cool.
definitely.
Yeah, but with that, let's take a brief detour and follow up with Ghostmaker, who we saw last month in the jungles of Devil Skull Island. So while Ghostmaker is engaged in a fierce battle with a laser tiger on Devil Skull Island, we learn the backstory of Kid Kawaii, one of the members of the Cabal, and her relationship with Ghostmaker. She's a creation of the Akumako Corporation, whose real name is Kimi, and basically she was designed to target bureaucrats and business people who may pose a threat down the line. During one instance where Kid Kawaii was attempting to take out the Prime Minister, at Tokyo Tower, she was basically intercepted by the Ghostmaker. So after trading blows for a little bit, old Ghostmaker uses Tokyo Tower as an electromagnet and forces Kid Kawaii to deactivate lest she die. But at the moment, Kid Kawaii basically suggests that they retreat, given that Ghostmaker is not going to back down anytime soon, and it would be in their best interest. But Madame Midas refuses and basically asks for more stories about Ghostmaker as Ghostmaker continues his pursuit through the jungle. I think this particular chapter in the Ghostmaker backup was probably my favorite. I think the last one was
so far
was satisfying, but it was still taking a little while for me to really get it, or for it to get there. But I don't know, like this one really did it for me, and I think it was just because we kind of got to see him more in action, and kind of his quippy, fun nature. And for X-Men fans out there, he kind of reminds me of Phantom X without the accent. Like that's the vibe I got from him.
I could see
where
that.
He's kind of like this, freebooting, free riding assassin. He just kind of leaps around and has fun and that kind of thing. And obviously the white is very similar to Phantom X. So I don't know. That was kind of what was on my mind. And the more I started to think about that, the more I kind of enjoyed it. So I ended up giving this one an 8.25 out of 10.
Yeah, man, I'm liking this story. This is kind of cool seeing his backstory, not necessarily like his origin story, but I like to see this. Yeah, like I said, I'm really digging it. The art from Ortiz was a little less than stellar for me. I have seen a lot better work from him. It was pretty good. There were just some spots that were kind of, less than stellar, like I said. Overall, it was good. I really enjoyed the whole thing. This one gets an 8 out of 10 for me, too, just like Brandon.
Yeah, this was a fun book. I am also digging this look into his backstory. I just want more adventures from him. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I got the kind of sense that Ghostmaker has a history with Kid Kawaii.
Yeah, it's
it
clear
seems
that
like they've gone up against each other at least a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like
not even as enemies or villains, but like...
You think there might be something more to it?
Familial or friendship-based.
It's possible.
Just the way he said, "I'll see you again, Kimmy, I promise," made me really think like he did not want to do the whole electromagnetic thing to her, but he did anyway because he didn't have a choice.
He did warn her. Yeah, so I mean, you might have something there.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely something deeper.
Not typical of Ghostmaker.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, I'm
had to give somebody a chance anyway.
Yeah, This is an 8
He's
out of 10.
more of a kill you first, then take your money later kind of guy.
Yeah, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. Solid story. I want more. Give me more
across the board.
Awesome. So final scores, guys.
8.75 for the whole issue.
Yeah, I'll give a 8.5.
Yeah, no, mine technically averages out to 8.375, but for the sake of being nice, I would round it up to an 8.4, but I'm having a good day today, so I'll round it up to an 8.5. Yep. But next, let's hop over to Earth 3 and check on our favorite heroes gone bad. But before I let Rob catch us up on the crime syndicate, I want to ask you both something very personal. What would your Earth 3 counterpart look like? I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, who is Earth 3 Josh and who is Earth 3 Rob? Because I have an idea of what my Earth 3 version would be like.
Okay, one question or a couple questions in regard to your question. Are we dealing with the complete and sole roster that's been presented in this run? And are we just picking from DC characters?
No. I mean, like, you exist on Earth 3. What are you like? Like, you as you are right now.
Right.
How evil are you? What do you think you'd be doing?
If we're doing physically, my Earth 3 copy is Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
He is a
mine's probably The Rock or Idris Elba. That's what they look like. But I would have to say more than likely, so it's exact opposites. It's like almost mirror images of your
Yeah,
personality,
just
right?
you're evil. I'm
So,
assuming you're not evil right
no, I'm not evil right now.
now.
I'm not a robot. Robots are evil. Um, but I would have to say, because I'm real big on on just trying to do good.
Mhm.
So I guess sharing and spreading goodness, and if that requires money or time or conversation or whatever, I do my best to be there for other people. So the exact opposite of that, I would assume, would be the embodiment of greed. So since we brought them up earlier, I'm going to have to say my Earth 3 person would be avarice.
Oh wow.
And that would be Larfleeze.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect character to be the exact opposite of me. I just as far as I can think of right now.
So you would be an Orange Lantern, or you would be Larfleeze?
I would be Larfleeze. I would be an Orange Lantern that looks like Idris Elba.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Rob?
I would just be a total dick.
Just be a total dick. He's a Canadian. They're happy. They say please and thank you when you get into a car accident.
That's exactly what I was going to say. My Canadian heritage means I'm just nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Or at least I try to be. But yeah, I would just, like, Canada would be, like, the Nazis.
Yeah,
or
no,
something,
Earth 3 Canada. I know. Earth 3 Canada is just like the most aggressive parts of New York. That's how I envision it, where it's like, instead of people being super nice and like, Toronto or whatever, they're just total assholes.
Prime Minister Trudeau turns into Hitler.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a. Oh God, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
If you guys have ever seen Letterkenny,
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yes, I love that show. I don't watch just Letterkenny. I also watch the cartoon.
oh
Yeah.
oh, so
Yeah.
good. But yeah, that is honestly a decent look into like rural Canadian life at times, and when we are dicks to you, we are dicks to your face. And we know how to fucking give you the runaround.
Yeah, and it's less being a dick and it's more just being honest.
Yeah.
Just imagine that being like all the time. That's what alternate Canada would be like, I imagine.
No.
Now, I'm gonna get a little existential for you.
Uh-oh.
What if this
Oh my
is
God.
Earth 3?
You're saying there's a better Earth? Oh no.
Well,
no.
that would mean
What does that say about us?
Earth 1, we're the good people on the bad
maybe.
Earth.
Oh, so then the original versions of ourselves are total assholes.
Well, that'd be like a terrifying thought. And it's funny, I'm surprised no one's gone for that meta angle where it's like you meet someone from another Earth and you're basically told that they're a better version than you. Like, how do you live with yourself after that?
Yeah.
You know what? There was a movie a while ago that came out. I can't remember the year, but it's been a while. But it wasn't big budget or anything, but it was called Another Earth. And it kind of addressed it in the same way. It's kind of long and it seems to go slow, but it's a really good story. You should check it out.
Yeah, no, that'd be, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I could live my life after that point. Like, if I was living on Earth 3 and I found out that there was a more heroic, basically better person than I am, who's just like not an asshole. Like or maybe I'd just be fine with it. I don't even know, but like I feel like that would mess with your head. But anyway, tangent over.
So are you copping to the fact that you're an asshole now? Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, I'm a horrible person. No, I'm just kidding.
You're a horrible person?
I'm delightful. I hope. I don't know.
All right. I mean, you seem to be a pretty cool dude, so that means that on the original Earth, this is Earth 3, that you're like, a philanthropist.
Yeah, I must be like
evil
a saint
philanthropist.
Or something.
You're good here, so you're like an evil philanthropist there. You're like Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was what I thought my Earth 3 counterpart would be, just like a super sleazy, like Wall Street businessman type of guy who like just basically just gives no fucks and speeds and like children's zones and that kind of thing. Just a bad
I-
person, but anyway.
I think that's a testament to how much of a good person you are.
Yes.
That the most evil thing you could think of was speeding.
I know.
in a children's zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
He's a good guy,
Yeah.
Brian.
I'm secretly Canadian. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Well, you are in New England.
that's true. That's true.
I used to live in Michigan. I'm born and bred in Michigan.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, no, all right, tangent over. So anyway, Rob, you want to walk us
Yep.
through Crime Syndicate number 3?
Yes, so we got writer Andy Schmidt, pencils from Kieran McCowan, inks from Dexter Vines, colors from Steve Oliff, and letters from Rob Lee. So our anti-heroes rally against Starro. Owlman has a plan in place to tide the invasion, and everyone needs to work together to make it happen. Ultraman tears a hole in the Mother Starro, Atomica gets inside and kicks the brain, and Emerald Knight tries to explode it from the inside out. Starro retaliates with a psychic blast that incapacitates everyone but Superwoman. Taking her barbed lasso of torture, she binds Starro and squeezes until it suffocates. Before dying, Starro cries of escaping the overlords of Oa and how it wanted to help save Earth. Now free from Starro's attack, the 6 supers take a breather together while Alexander Luthor witnesses the exposure of powered people all across the globe. And that being said, give me Evil Aquaman.
Evil
Just give me
Aquaman.
more.
Oh man,
Give me
I'm
all the
I've
Evil Aquaman.
been waiting for Evil Aquaman since they teased it in like Forever
Mhm.
Evil, and then he just died. What was that? Ugh, I'm waiting
I
for
That
don't
it.
even remember Evil
messed up.
Aquaman, and that was before, like in the intro.
Yeah,
to
it was
Forever
the
Evil.
intro
Yeah.
to Forever Evil. I think it was the end of Trinity War. They had an evil
Yeah.
Aquaman called Sea King, and
Mhm.
he steps through the portal, and you're like, oh shit, it's like an evil Aquaman, and then he just falls over and dies.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, just a disappointment. No, you're good.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'm with you, Rob. I'm waiting for Evil
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Yeah, this one felt quick though.
Mm.
It really did. Like, I enjoyed the action, but it seemed to fly through it, or maybe it was just basic. The whole issue was the battle against Mother Starro, so it felt like there wasn't much else to it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
that's why it
yeah.
read quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely felt like there should have been more to the actual overall story. And again, I mean, maybe there really isn't one, because there are points where it feels kind of directionless. Like it just kind of feels like a peek into Earth 3, but there's no like overarching story. It's just kind of them doing
Yeah.
stuff. And I mean, that's fine
Swap
for
the
a
titles.
while, but yeah, I feel like it still needs to be a way to tie it together.
But this is a 6-issue mini, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
6-issue
This book,
miniseries.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Crime
that-
Syndicate should be the backup issue, them as a story. They should do the origins up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I also had kind of a fun time reading this one. Like I said, it wasn't grand or anything. It was solid, and the fight with Starro was pretty cool, just to get to see the Earth 3 Starro. But yeah, other than that, not too much to speak of. So I ended up giving this one a 7 out of 10.
It's better than me. I gave it a 6.5.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes from here, even though there's only 3 issues left. And I agree with what you're saying about it being a little directionless at this point, because you'd think the whole 6 issues is going to be about Starro,
Yeah.
but now that's done, so is it going to go into the Overlords of Oa?
I
Who
don't know.
knows?
Like it feels like
But-
there are so many different directions it can go, and they just haven't
Yeah.
done it yet.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I think the idea of the Omniverse rebooting the Crime Syndicate is, I mean, and basically Earth 3 is a pretty cool concept. 6 issues isn't enough to do it in.
Yeah, or at the very least, if you're gonna do a 6-issue series, you really need to commit to.
It needs to be more compact. Why
Yeah,
are they wasting
you
so
need to
much
commit
time
to
on
some
these
kind of
pages?
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is this also the same Crime Syndicate that was in, was it Future State Suicide Squad? For that brief, I think, in the 2nd issue?
It might have been. I don't remember.
Was that- I took that as the Suicide Squad from Forever Evil.
Yeah.
But maybe it's this one.
Was that the Suicide Squad? Or was that a different team? I think that was a different team.
Yeah, I don't
Was it?
remember.
I remember Waller had the
You
body.
mean
So.
in the Justice League
Okay.
book?
No, in
Right,
Future
the
State.
Future State Justice League book. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Was it Future
I
State
know that
Justice
there was
League?
a team of supervillains that showed up that were not Suicide Squad. That was in the Future State Justice League book.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
the
was
HyperClan,
HyperClan. I'm
exactly.
pretty sure that,
HyperClan,
yeah, the Earth 3,
Yeah.
it was like an Earth 3 insertion team in Suicide Squad. I don't remember
Yeah.
if the Crime Syndicate was there. They
Oh,
might
I
have
don't know.
been. Yeah, but yeah, no, pretty solid issue all around. Josh, what did you think?
I think the idea is good. I think seeing the origin of the characters in the back is cool. Altogether, it's cool that, like I said, it's rebooting it because this is Owlman's first public appearance. I really like the new Donna Troy, but I gotta admit that's about as far as it goes. Some of the art looks okay, a lot of it just does not, and I'm just not feeling it, man. I gave it a 6.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, no, there are definitely some places where the art, especially in the faces, is a little slapdash. But yeah, no, moving on, we're going to look at the backup story to this one, focusing on Donna Troy. So, Josh, do you want to take that one?
So this is the origin story of Earth 3's Donna Troy, and like I mentioned, she's the badass from the previous story, and I'm glad to see her here. She kind of has this origin story like Wonder Woman, with even having Steve Trevor involved, but it's got a drastic turn to it. Steve Trevor is begging her to come back to the world of man, and then when she says no, he tries to use her as a hostage and tries to get 10 Amazonians to go to Earth. That doesn't exactly work out so well. I found it kind of interesting that they mentioned Diane here, just basically saying that she was soft. So I wonder if she's dead, or maybe they keep her in some kind of prison or something.
It seems like she's dead. Like I feel like this iteration of the Amazons, they don't really keep prisoners. Like she's
Right.
gone.
Basically, just like most of the comics with backup stories in the Infinite Frontier, the backup story is better than the first one. It's just not that much better than the last one. I will give this a 7.5. And, I mean, that's about as good as I can give this stuff. It's the origin stories should be, I mean, at least the way that these are written, the origin stories should be upfront. I think they waste enough time in Crime Syndicate that they could shorten that down to a backup story and expand on the origin story and have just as good as a comic book, probably better. I gave that one 6.25 out of 10, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt a similar way. Where I remember thinking that with the last issue too, where they did the Owlman origin, and I was just like, I wish that could have been longer because I kind of enjoyed that one more than the main story. Not that it was terrible; it just it kind of had better artwork and it was a little more interesting. And I would have loved to have seen a solo Owlman story with Brian Hitch.
Yeah,
that would have been cool, just man. Like I said, it was. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's kind of average. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it. It's still an interesting concept. It doesn't really do much more than that, and it really needs to find its overarching story. So yeah, I gave the backup story a 7 out of 10, and I gave the main story a 7 out of 10. So just averages out to a 7 out of 10 for me. But Rob, what did you think, or what was your final score?
Really cool backup, really interesting origin, and not often you see a reverse of Wonder Woman's origin like that.
Especially when it really parallels it so closely.
And nice connections.
Yeah.
Exactly. I gave this a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed this. Like you guys, I enjoyed it more than the main story. At least for this month anyway. But yeah, it was good.
All right, we'll be back to cover the rest of the issues right after this commercial break.
Okay, humans, it turns out that we're humans too, and we had a little bit of a technical difficulty on Rob's end. His mic just decided that it wasn't going to work anymore halfway through the show. So we have 3 more titles that we would have normally reviewed in depth on the show, but instead of going back and recording that because it's already getting late, and honestly, the last 3, we could sum them up in real quick things. Secret Files number 2, Roy Harper's back and he's dealing with his past shit. Green Lantern number 2, O is shutting down and it's getting blown up. And Swamp Thing number 3, it's fucking Swamp Thing. Spicer, Perkins, Ramvi, just go buy it. What did you guys give these 3? Secret Files, I gave a 7.5. Where were you guys at?
Yeah, I gave Secret Files a 7. It was just fun. Yeah, more Roy. I want more Roy.
Yeah, no, Secret Files, I
For
have
sure.
that one as a 7.25. Mm, yeah.
Yeah. I gave it a 7.5. It's not anywhere near my highest scoring of the week. I did have issues with it, but I'm also a hardcore Lantern fan, so I might be very critical.
Yeah, no, I felt that this one was a little bit more of an improvement from the last issue, so I ended up giving this one a 7.75, and I'm more interested to see the direction that they're going moving forward, but I'm still waiting for some of the writing to catch up.
That's true. And finally, we've got Swamp Thing number 3. I think by my brief blurb about that earlier, you know exactly how I feel. But I gave this, I'm not kidding, guys. Swamp Thing number 1 was awesome. And it's only gotten better from there. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I had an absolute blast with it, and I mean, even if it was a little slower than the first 2 issues that we got, for me at least, still one of the most interesting and most well put together books at DC right now. So I ended up giving this one an 8.25 out of 10.
8.25.
Yeah, I gave this an 8.5. Fantastic art. One of the best teams in the industry right now, if not at least DC. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so sorry for the brief covering of those last 3 titles, but hey, like I said, we're humans and technical difficulties, damn robots, get in our way sometimes. So, what's up next, Brandon?
Well, next we're going to look at our top 3 books for this week and a standout moment if you have one. We kind of went in depth before we lost some of the audio, so we can just kind of briefly run through our top 3 and the moment that we loved. So, Josh, you want to start?
Yeah, all 3 of the 4 books I had were awesome to look at. I did love them. Earlier, Brandon and Rob pointed out how much I shouldn't have loved the art in the Green Lantern book, but I loved it while I was reading it, so we're going to go with that. Unfortunately, Suicide Squad was just as good and a bit more fun, so that took number 3. Batman took number 2, because that just continues to get good, but Swamp Thing was definitely the spotlight stealer this week, man. Number 1 all the way. And that didn't have my favorite moment, though. That one was back in Batman, seeing Peacekeeper 1's transformation. That was gorgeous, man.
Oh, yeah. And Rob, how about you?
So mine is very similar to Josh's, almost to a T. I had Suicide Squad at number 3, just a little bit more fun than some other books this week. And I want to see more of these characters that are just one-off, and they're dead. They're so much fun. Number 2, I had Batman, just a beautiful book. It's a fun story. I can't wait to see where that one goes. And number 1's got to go to Swamp Thing. Even more beautiful than Batman. The art is fantastic. The writing is top-notch. Just keep it coming. Best creative team right now.
Absolutely. As far as the next part goes, I think it's pretty unanimous what we all have for
the biggest thinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
all on the count of 3. I bet you it's all the same one.
If I had to guess, probably, but sure, let's go for it.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Crime
Crime
Syndicate.
Syndicate.
Yeah. No, we're all on the same wavelength.
That
Yeah.
yuck. Yeah. It could be good. You're just not doing enough with it. I feel like Bendis is writing it because he's just sitting there spinning a neutral man.
No, if Bendis was writing it, it'd have about 15 more word balloons and random nonsensical crap
per page.
It'd be 12 issues instead of 6.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like we said earlier, it's a fine read, and there's some interesting ideas there. It really needs a sense of direction, and you can't just keep doing these kind of like random fun scenarios because it just kind of sits there and there's no real point. So yeah, no, it's definitely the weakest one for me this week.
For sure.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's not much more to say. It's just not as fun as the other ones this week.
Yeah.
Not as much going on.
Well, I think it stinks.
Oh, yeah. And that's the show. We hope you had fun. We definitely did. Come back next week for more DC Comics talk when we'll be reviewing Wonder Woman 772, Superman 31, Joker number 3, Batman Detective number 2, Batman Urban Legends number 3, Future State Gotham number 1, Rorschach number 8, and Justice League Last Ride number 1. We'll be here talking comics, and we hope you'll stop by. Remember to go to notarobotpodcast.com for all our episodes and our other shows with all sorts of people. With that, there's only one way that we say goodbye around here. Until next time,
be good to each other.
And don't be a robot. All right, so we did an hour's worth of audio in 7 minutes and 40 seconds.
Just